Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is and all that. It's your boy, SaleenDriver. That's me. Coming to you with episode number 148 of Wednesday Afternoon Live. The Wednesday afternoon live stream about nothing in particular. And we've proven that literally every week that we've done this. The longest running Wednesday afternoon live stream in all of YouTube that I know of. Good to be with you guys again. Let me just set my windows up here. Jay Shipes was in early with his usual silliness, calling me an Episcopalian. That's probably more of an insult than he meant it to be. But okay. Sir Aga, he's here. Let's go, he says. Then he squeals like a pig. A little worried about that, sir. Neo's here. I haven't seen Neo around in a while. Good afternoon to you, sir. Matt Dumit's here. Bread. That's Tiger Cat's favorite name to say. Bread. Can't do it as good as her. I don't have that lilting voice that she has. Good to see y'all here. And I'm sure at some point we will have an appearance from everyone's favorite Australian. I talked to her yesterday. She said she was going to be here. No, I'm not going to turn my camera on. I mean, everyone else that does live streams doesn't turn their camera on. Except for maybe VicTube and BBD. Everyone else puts an icon up of some kind. Lou does it. Pete does it. TK does it. Battle Angel does it. Hell, half the time BVD is turned his camera off. VicTube is probably the last of the people who consistently runs their camera, and I'm not going to run my camera. I'm going to leave my newly found last week avatar up because, well, y'all know why, and I'm going to leave it there because fuck you. Oh, my mom is calling. I'm going to mute myself for a minute and take the call. Okay. Thank you. My mom calling supersedes my live stream. Hoagie's here. Good to see Hoagie. How you doing, sir? And well, Uga, it can be a sleep stream if you want. You can go to bed right now if you wish, and it can be a sleep stream for you. I can make it a sleep stream. I can just leave the camera. I can just leave the stream running, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves if I'm boring you. I am not camera shy. I'm not turning my camera on. I don't want to turn my camera on. I don't have to turn my camera on. The title, my avatar's title clearly says "My stream, my slot, my way, not yours." Zona's here. Zona Tucson 93. Good. He's going to a Snoop Dogg concert. You have my sympathy, sir. Are you doing that willingly? Wiz, how do you pronounce that? Khalifa? Caliphate? Cali got your tongue? I mean, all right. Well, have fun, sir. Be safe. And try not to breathe in too deeply or else you get a contact high. I'm always grumpy, Sir Uga. This community makes me grumpy. Baylor Man's here. 3 more sleeps until football. Glad you brought that up, sir, because I want to pull up the schedule for Saturday's games. This is not what I call a barn burner of a first weekend. Navy at Notre Dame. That might be the best game of the day, in my not so humble opinion. UTEP at Jacksonville State. Really? Ohio at San Diego State. UMass at New Mexico State. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. San Jose State at USC. And the nightcap, Florida International at La Tech. Really? That's the week 0 that everyone's been clamoring about. That's your first weekend of college football, is that garbage. Okay. I don't know. My kid's coming into town. I probably won't be watching. Let's see. Slim Shady. Slim Shady coming in with a heavy dose of salt. Steve Pearson's here. Good to see you, sir. I should turn my camera on. No, I really shouldn't. I don't want to. Zona says UMass, New Mexico State is going to be awesome. Yeah, pretty much going to disagree with you there, sir. Yeah, that's not going to be a good game. Although I might be talked into. I might be talked into the fact that the UMass New Mexico State game will probably be a more interesting game than the Florida Utah game. I just had this deep feeling that Florida is going to get run out of the state by halftime. My camera works better than the week 0 football, sir. Hoagie, okay. Come back. I'll be here for a couple hours. But Baylor Man does make an excellent point. I will concede this. No, not that point. That point. I will concede that point to Baylor Man. Absolutely. Some game is better than none. Bad football is better than no football. I readily admit. And Big Dog Brett, the champ. The champ is here. Well, Slim, when you're on the stream, when you're in my StreamYard, you never turn your camera on. So why should you get the privilege of no camera and I don't? Let me see. I got to send a text message real quick. So give me just a few seconds. Proves. Okay. Well, let's see. Yeah, okay, Slim. I'm going to ignore you now. I'll deal with you later. And just you're gonna hammer on that. You're gonna flog the dead horse, and I'll just sit back and let you do it. Baylor Man is dropping knowledge today. Bad football is the National Felons League, and that's no football in itself. Baylor Man, I love the way you think, sir. I wholeheartedly approve of your thought process. Speaking of the National Felons League, just for a second, and the only reason I know this is because I live near Tampa, and all the local news stations are carrying Bucks coverage right now. And as I predicted, by barely paying attention, the Bucks have named that locker room cancer, that guy who started for now will be starting for 4 teams in the span of 2 football seasons, that overrated pile of steaming crap, Baker Mayfield. They named him the starter over Kyle Trask, the guy who had been there for 3 years and played under and studied under Tom Brady, the GOAT. Because, as we all know, the National Felons League hates all things Gator, and especially all things Gator quarterback. And Kyle Trask never had a chance. Never mind the fact that he's a homegrown talent, went to school in the state, and could have helped the Bucks with their fan base by having a starting quarterback who is more than serviceable, who is a product of your state's college system, play for your team that's located in the state of Florida. But never mind that. I predicted a long time ago Kyle Trask would have no chance to start for the Bucks. And then when they brought in Baker Cancerfield, I made that prediction, ironclad, lead pipe lock cinch, that Baker Mayfield would be the starter no matter what Kyle Trask did in the preseason. So I was right. God, I hate being right all the time. Jesus. It hurts being right all the time. It really does. So hard being one of the smartest kids in the room. Just saying. Yes, Slam, yes, you are a big fat chigger. Congratulations on that. Oh, Shipes makes his appearance again. Raj and that. Shipes, you calling me at the beginning of the stream, calling me, what did you call me? Let me, Episcopalian. For one thing, you might have spelled Episcopalian wrong, but I don't know. But really? You going to call me an Episcopalian, you putz? I ought to ban you from the channel for that, but you're decent comic relief, so I'll keep you around. Captain Trips is here. Good to see you, sir, fellow Florida Gator. That's good to see. Yep, Baylor Man. Exactly. I also hate it when our conspiracies always come true. A lot of my conspiracies came true in the past 6 to 9 months, but we're not going to talk about that now. We're going to just, change the phrase conspiracy theory to you were right all along. Just 3 days. That's right, Baylor Man. Just 3 days. Dog Fan SR. Good morning to you too, sir. Yep, Captain Trips. We did. We did make it through another off season. What is the off season? Just a little under 9 months long. It's hard. It's not easy to do an off season that long. It really isn't. Dog SR football conspiracies are all conspiracies. All conspiracies, sir. But the football conspiracies are the most fun. And the biggest conspiracy of all is that any graduate and any draftee from the University of Florida is automatically shit on. We know this to be true. And Kyle Trask is but the latest example of that. So somebody threatened to blow up the RNC? Really? No, it wasn't me. It was probably some, pink-haired, 400-pound, cream white skinned, gender fluid lunatic from Antifa. I'll probably get my channel shut down for that. And Brent is here. Okay, good to see Brent. Why would you want to threaten to blow up the RNC? That organization is as useless as tits on a board. It was a right winger want to blow up the RNC, really? Yeah. I hadn't heard this story yet, but I've been listening to Charlie Kirk for the past 3 hours, so I wasn't reading news at the moment. I like Charlie Kirk, but man, he's very intelligent man, but he's very short-sighted when it comes to the future of the. He can't see past 2024, and his conduct it betrays him. But other than that. Mike Saha, probably. Yeah. I've heard that name before. Where do I know that name? I don't know. Well, wait, Slim. Let's back up a minute. Was it the threat to blow up the RNC or the RNC debate? You mean the debate that's happening tonight? That I would expect. I expect all the crazies to come out and make all kinds of threats about tonight's debate. Who would I like to see win the 2024 election? The American people. That's who I'd like to see win for once. I would. I am a fan of Ron DeSantis, obviously. I also have been a fan of Vivek. I've been listening to him more and more lately. I am a big fan of what he has to say and how he has to say it. And also the guy from South Carolina, Tim Scott. I like his style. And also, there's a senator from Wisconsin. I think it's Wisconsin. Oh, let me find his name real quick. I'm going to type now. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. I'm going to type. Cover your ears or take off your headsets or whatever. Who is the Ron Johnson? Yeah, I like Ron. I've been listening to some interviews that Ron Johnson's been giving lately. I like him. He's not running. But I wouldn't mind seeing Trump tap him for vice president because obviously Trump's going to win the nomination anyway. Okay, I'm not going to type for a little while anymore, so everyone can relax now. Hoagie's back. Okay. Nature Boy's here. Good to see Nature Boy. He's here somewhere. Uh-oh. Hang on. Did I miss a call or did my phone go haywire? Nope, nothing. Anyway, let's drop the link. I'm wondering where's Libby? Where'd my buddy from down under? There's the link. Edward's channel got taken down again. Well, maybe if he would, not be such a lunatic. I mean, Jesus. P Digits is here. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Good afternoon to you, sir. Probably not Hoagie, since she isn't on the chat, so she probably doesn't know that my camera's not on. There's my number one fan and number one critic. I'll wrap into one bundle. Good afternoon, sir.
We're on your fucking camera.
What?
Heard me.
I can't hear you. I can't hear your volume is low.
How's that?
Oh, there you go. Much better.
Okay, now you can hear me. Turn on your fucking camera.
All right. Yeah.
Why you gotta be a sheep? Why you gotta be a sheep? Do like everybody else.
I turned on my camera and I turned it off again. Well, you usually come on and turn off your camera. Now my camera's off, your camera's on. Okay, well, you're in your truck. I can see that.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting.
Where are you sitting at today?
At present, Evansville, Indiana.
Oh. I know. Seeing if anyone said anything important. Hoagie, I don't want to turn my camera on. I don't understand why this is such a big deal to people.
I just don't like the excuse you made. You started saying just because this person does it or that person does it. Like I said, there are people that wear gimp suits. Go put one of them on too if you're going to be a follower like that.
But I don't have a gimp suit, nor am I ever likely to have one.
Oh, I can have you one in 2 days. That can be arranged gladly.
Okay. You are wasting your money, sir, not mine.
You gonna put it on?
Nope.
Why not? You're gonna turn off your camera because other people do it. Put on a gimp suit because other people do it.
Somehow that logic escapes me, but okay.
Anyway, well, there's a lot of things that escape you. No,
actually, not a lot of things escape me. The only thing that escapes me right now is, peace.
Well, your love for establishment politicians. That escapes logic.
Well, no, I wouldn't consider Trump or Vivek establishment.
No, but Ron DeSantis is. So is Johnson. There's a fucking. That's a terrible idea, by the way.
Have you heard him speak?
Okay.
I like what he has to say.
And Barack Obama can make shit sound good too. I think it was Thomas Sowell said he had an innate ability to say a whole lot of things, or say a whole lot of words and say absolutely nothing. And Tim Scott from South Carolina is fucking terrible.
Oh.
He can't answer a basic fucking question. He's as bad as Asa Hutchinson.
No, Asa. I must beg to differ with you, sir. Asa Hutchinson's worse. Asa Hutchinson, I put on the same level with Kami Harris.
Yeah, well, I put Tim Scott right there too because I watched him get absolutely eviscerated by Tucker Carlson.
Well,
made to look like a damn fool.
Tucker is good at that. I gotta say.
I mean, not if you got a brain. Not if you can answer a basic question. And that's the problem that people like Tim Scott and Mike Pence and the rest have. They just simply refuse to answer a basic question.
No, I'm not. I was no Mike Pence fan in 16 or 20. I'm no Mike Pence fan, period. He reminds me of the good, the good Midwestern Presbyterian, Christian that sits in the church and doesn't say a word and doesn't have a hell of a lot to say when he's talking. He's just mild mannered. He's a zero. He's grayscale. He's a cipher. He barely exists. Oh, Lou's here. God help us. Anyway, I would like to see Vivek be the vice president nominee this time.
Well, that's all the debate is who's going to be number 2.
Yeah, I think it'll be Vivek. I really do. I'm not going to watch the debate. I have no interest. I understand at the same time, Tucker is going to be interviewing Trump at the same time the debate's going on. I'm going to try and watch that instead. I think it's on Twitter.
That's not going to be live. That's going to be uploaded, so you can basically watch that at any time.
I heard a report today it was going to do it live.
No.
I'll try and confirm that or whatever. But I'll watch it. Probably from DC Short YouTube channel. Probably will carry it.
I might watch it. I don't know.
Oh, Libby just popped into the chat, so prepare for that eventually. Yeah, everyone in the chat loves Libby all of a sudden.
I was agreeing with what Brent said earlier. They're absolutely doing fucking Larry Elder wrong.
Oh, they've been doing Larry Elder long for forever. I mean, forever.
Well, I'll give them this much. The RNC wasn't so blatant about it before. Hell, maybe that's why somebody threatened to blow them up. Who the fuck knows?
Now, did they threaten to blow up the debate venue, or did they threaten to blow up RNC headquarters?
I don't know. It was something that came through on I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts while I was getting loaded this morning.
What are you carrying today?
Creosote.
You always carry creosote.
Yeah. A lot of what
every
I do.
time I ask.
Creosote or asphalt. It's a lot of what I end up hauling.
There must be good money in that. I wish you'd bring some of that asphalt down here. We have a whole bunch of roads that really could use it.
I deliver to Tampa all the time.
I'm not in Tampa. But
Tampa
God knows
Tampa
needs
Apopka.
it. Apopka, that's outside of Orlando. My best friend lived in Apopka for a little while right after he got married to his first wife. He was working for... Huh?
That's where Warren Sapp's from.
Yeah. He was working for... what was that contract? It was a defense contractor in Apopka. Oh, shit, I can't remember. Well, this is so far back I can barely remember it. But anyway, it was a good job for him. He liked it. He's a graphic arts guy by trade, so he was working on drawing blueprints and stuff back before they started using computers. I know, it's riveting shit.
Right.
Lou says that Trump is scared of the debate.
What's the point?
I
mean, he's literally polling higher than the rest of the field combined. There's no point.
If I were that far ahead of second and third place, I wouldn't bother. I really wouldn't. It's a waste of my time to go. All he would do is, if he got on stage, is he would basically elevate everyone else. And why bother? Some of those jokers aren't going to make it to the first primary or caucus,
which is basically all tonight's going to turn into is a shit on Ron DeSantis event, and he's not good in debates.
No, he really isn't, is he?
He's good on one-on-ones, especially with the media, but he's not good in debates.
No. I still maintain, I said it before he got in the race, I said it the day he got in the race, and I say it every day since, including today. DeSantis should not have gotten into the race.
Nope.
He should have sat it out, wait until 28, and
actually, I think the smarter decision for him probably would have been to go the Reagan Bush Sr. route. He would have been better off trying to be Trump's VP and then running in 28. I think would have been his best bet.
Somebody, I don't remember whether they proved this to be legal or illegal, but somebody on the radio, it was a radio show of some kind, when somebody floated the idea of a Trump DeSantis ticket, and they said, no, you can't have two people from live in the same state on the ticket. It's illegal. And I thought to myself, that doesn't sound right. And I made a mental note to myself to look that up, and then I never got around to it.
Well, I mean, in Trump's case, he's literally got houses from coast to coast, so he can claim to be a resident of any state.
That's what I thought. I mean, he could claim New York. He claim, God, how many houses does that guy have? Let's see.
Enough.
No. I agree with I agree with Trump not participating. I think it's a smart decision on his part. I thought it would have been a fun thing to do for him to get on his airplane, fly out there, and circle the venue. Or circle, fly toward and file a flight plan and make it public. Fly towards the Milwaukee airport, whatever the fuck it's called. And then when he's within 10 miles of the airport, file a new flight plan, turn around and fly back to fly out to Maine, where Carlson is right now, and do the interview with him there. That just would have made the media crazy. I
that would have been funny.
I ain't
gonna lie, that would have been funny.
Okay. You could scroll up, Libby, and find the link, but since you're lazy, I'll do it for you. I would like to see. I think DeSantis would make a good Veep, but I selfishly would rather he stay and run Florida until his term is up. I'd rather see Vivek run as the Veep and see where that goes. I think he's a hell of a guy. I think very smart, very intelligent. And just like Trump, he's an outsider. He's a bomb thrower. and he's a shit stirrer.
Well, I had the same questions about him that I had about Trump in 2016, and it's the one downside of trying to go with anybody that's outside of the establishment. They've got no real record to go on. I mean, you've really got nothing but what they say. And
I don't want him to
I
have a
assume,
record.
well, and I get that point, but at the same time, you've got no real gauge on how much of a liar they are. Because all politicians are liars, just to different degrees.
Yeah, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. But then again, in 2016, I had my serious doubts about Trump. I wanted to see Ted Cruz as the nominee.
That's who I voted for in the primary, was Ted Cruz.
That's who I voted for in the primary. I thought Trump was going to come in as a New York liberal rhino and just turn the country maybe not hard left in the sense of the Marxist Muslim, but still keep the country tacking left. And obviously I was wrong. The man governed as a conservative for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
I think he could have done a better job on a few more things. Cam up, Libby. Ah, that's her. It's got to be her. There she is.
Absolutely, because I've flipped you off, motherfucker.
Hey, we need
turn your
Libby,
camera on and flip me off. I don't give a shit.
We need Libby to point her camera at her toilet. I want to see if it's true that the water flows back.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. When I went over there at the beginning of the year, that's the first thing I tested when I got to Vegas, was if the water went around the wall. And then I hopped into the fucking shower. Like, this is the next morning, right? I was stark naked. Hopped in the shower, looked at the shower. There was one fucking tap. I'm like, how the fuck do I turn this on?
Well, I mean, most people are naked that get in the shower. I mean,
no. Because
I mean, is that not like standard procedure in Australia or something?
Yeah.
It's pretty normal over here.
Yeah. But I was just giving you context. Because I'm used to having one set of taps for the shower head and one set of taps for the bath. One. And there was only one, and I was like, what the fuck? I can't figure this out. Oh, is that because I showed up?
No, Neo's a good dude, but when he comes on here, he doesn't stay very long. He's also not terribly political, and he may not the discussion may not have been to his liking.
Well, you know what my fucking opinions are on that issue.
Yeah, I don't agree with many of them, but some of them I do.
I just think everyone involves a douchebag. So
we all know that politicians on all sides of the aisle are douchebags.
Yeah, so fuck them all.
That's why they're.
Why do we give them the power? Why do we fucking give them the power that they need there, that they crave then? Because they're fucking.
Somebody's got
the psychopaths. They shouldn't be allowed to have the power we give them.
Well, the problem is it takes a certain personality type to be able to want to withstand the anal exam that is becoming a politician.
Fucking pigs.
Libby J. Shipes says we had dual knobs until the millennium.
Yeah, no. You should have seen it. I was standing there in the shower, like in the bath, just like, what the fuck do I do? So I ended up just running a bath and washing myself, and washing my hair the best I could. And I ended up I was talking to one of you know who Kez, you know who that is.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kez about it. And she's like, there's like a little knob thing that you pull up and that makes the water come out of the shower head. I'm like, oh.
You're telling me they don't have that kind of they don't have that kind of system down under?
Not in any of the houses I've ever lived in.
Oh dear God! All right.
What?
Well,
What?
hey, I mean, I've seen hotels with those little side toilet thingies called bidets.
Mm.
I never used one. I don't really understand exactly how it works, but
You're supposed to wash your asshole.
yeah, I know how it works, but I don't
Oh.
understand what's wrong with just regular good old fashioned toilet paper.
Well, apparently washing your ass is more effective. You get more of the shit off.
Okay, well, not something I'm going to use. Right?
Brent's laughing.
Who's laughing?
Brent.
Oh, Brent. Yeah. Well,
I watched your fucking walking and talking video yesterday, and I was ripped off because you weren't talking. You weren't walking at all.
I explained that I needed to. I had to reference notes, and even if my back wasn't jacked up, which it is, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't walk and talk in that video anyway because I had to refer to my notes.
You could have had your notes on your phone, mate.
No, I couldn't because I used the phone to record with. You derp.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
I'm sorry if the facts get in the way of your feelings.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Anyway,
Oh,
no,
what do you
we're all
mean
set.
facts get in the way of my feelings?
Well, I'm giving you the facts of the matter, and you're just going. "Ugh."
No, I didn't actually.
Pardon again. Ugh. Fucking medication makes me burp. Anyway.
Nah, I think you're gassy to begin with.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, I am a guy. Guys are gassy.
Oh God.
So
I hate
how's things where you are in the future?
good. Oh, did you guys hear about that lady that killed people with the mushrooms?
Yeah, you told me about
Yeah, yeah. She had an interview on the TV last night. Why she'd do an interview, I don't know.
Well, in case anyone hasn't heard this, well, Brent hasn't heard about this, so give him a 30-second synopsis of what you're talking
In
about.
Melbourne, oh, not far from Melbourne.
That's in
can't-
Australia.
Oh, duh.
No, there's a Melbourne, Florida, too, fuckface. I'm trying to
Oh,
help you
yeah,
out.
because I'd be talking about some fucking place in Florida, wouldn't I?
You never know with
Get
you.
real.
Anyway,
Anyway,
continue.
so this chickie is thought they're investigating her because she prepared this fucking beef Wellington. And three of
Which
the
has
four people
mushrooms.
that yes, and three of the four people have passed away. And they're investigating, and they believe that the mushrooms that were in it were death cap mushrooms. So obviously she's a person of interest because she cooked the meal. And she can't she reckons that she used button mushrooms that she got from the shop, and she used dehydrated mushrooms that she got from some Asian grocer in the main street, but she can't remember the name of the Asian grocers.
Oh,
So
sure. We believe that, don't we, folks?
yeah, so there's some suspicion as to what the fuck. Like, she's a person of interest, so she's not guilty just yet. Does that make sense? But it looks fucking awfully sus.
Yeah, I mean, you go shopping and it's relatively recent shopping trip, and you can't remember the name of the place you went shopping.
Yeah.
Really, that doesn't sound kosher.
Well, the other fella that the other fella that survived, he's in intensive care, obviously in the hospital. They're saying that he's going to need a liver transplant. Like he's still really, really sick. And they reckon that those death cap mushrooms, you only need one to fucking kill someone. So
And the sad thing and the thing that interests me about this story the most is beef Wellington is one of my favorite things.
No, not no more. It's not.
But if you serve it to me, I sure as hell ain't eating it.
Excuse me?
Well, now you know how to kill someone with a beef Wellington. I'm not them. No. Mm-mm.
What the fuck are you talking about? There's other. Ugh. There's obviously other ways that one can kill someone else. Like,
Why would you want to kill me? I'm a nice guy.
I didn't say I wanted to. Has your mum beaten you up yet?
For what?
For being a dickhead.
Nature Boy wants to know if Libby is the angel of death.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Well, she's no angel, but no, never mind. No, my mom hasn't beaten me up. She hasn't had any problem with me lately.
I love that you put lately.
Just saying.
She frightens.
Oh, and my kid will be in this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brent gives up a good point. At least you'd have a good last meal. But see, that
Yeah,
whole
but how good could death head mushrooms taste?
I think they just taste like any other normal mushroom. They just give off this. They just have this poisonous thing in them.
Yeah. Yep, Slim's back.
I want to know where the fuck she got them from, though.
Maybe she picked them out in the wild.
Yeah, true. I didn't think we had any death caps, but then again,
well, let me look. Hang on a second. Now I'm going to type again, folks.
let
Trigger
me
warning.
Look, I'll type it. I can't stand that fucking typewriter on. I'm just gonna fucking look.
Death
To
cap.
be honest, Saleen, you're the only triggered person I've seen in like the last month. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I know.
Look, I just finished.
Death cap mushrooms. Death cap mushrooms can be expected to occur anywhere in Victoria where oaks are planted.
Yep, and they happen across the Canberra region.
Yep, first noted in Canberra. Canberra, thank you. In Melbourne and Adelaide.
Adelaide's in South Australia.
Can you survive a death cap?
No,
Illness after eating death cap mushrooms is very serious. Up to 30% of people who eat a death cap will die. Liver transplants are often necessary. Life-saving procedure. Early treatment is essential.
Yep. That's what old mate.
You got a 70% chance of living? That's pretty good. 70-30 odds are pretty good.
Yeah, well, just tell that to the other three that fucking died.
What is the antidote?
It goes down if you eat 6 of them.
Yeah, true.
The antidote for death cap mushroom is isocyanide green dye, and stop the toxin from killing humans, cells, and mice in lab tests.
Shit.
Ingesting a death cap can result in kidney and liver damage and death.
There you go. So be careful if you go out foraging for your own mushrooms.
Yeah, because there's a picture of one here.
Damage to your digestive system. Like old mate, even if he gets a liver transplant.
The death caps look very much like the standard button mushroom.
Yeah, they do. Yes,
and that's not a good thing.
And this is another element of the case that's quite mind-boggling.
Buy your mushrooms at Publix.
Yeah, well, she prepared the meal, but then didn't eat it herself. She made something else, right?
Right.
And then she reckons her kids had some too, and they didn't get sick. because because they don't like mushrooms, so she scraped the mushrooms out.
Wouldn't the poison be
Well,
baked
that's what I
into
thought. Wouldn't the poison
the
still
pastry
be?
or absorbed into the meat? I mean,
Well, that's what I thought. But yeah, it's very, very confusing. It's a very, very strange case.
why did she want to do this? Has anyone come up with a motive yet?
Well,
Is one of these people she killed her
they
husband?
were her former in-laws.
Oh, well, that I can understand.
And her former husband was going to be at that lunch, but he pulled out at the last minute.
I mean, there's some much more straightforward ways to kill people if you're going to do it and make it look like an accident.
Pop two in their chest.
It's like an accident. It's not looking like an accident. You put a couple into somebody's center mass.
Oh well. If she's it does.
Very true, Brett. Very true.
You got to know your shit if you go out foraging.
Or you don't eat
I
fucking
guess
mushrooms.
she was mad at somebody, I guess.
Why didn't she use those mushrooms that make you see funny colors? Like
peyote?
magic mushrooms.
There's a pizza chain called Magic Mushroom. They make good
because
pizza.
most people find out where those mushrooms come from and they're grossed out by it.
Oh. Is shelving a thing in your country?
Who?
Shelving.
Shelving?
Well, some people take their drugs. Some people will take their drugs via their anus because it's absorbed into their system quicker through the rectal wall than through the stomach.
I've heard of alcoholics doing that.
Yeah, it's called shelving.
They call it butt chugging.
Yeah.
Actually, Uncle Lou is an expert on the subject because he made a video about how Tennessee fans love to butt chug. It's actually kind of funny, but it's also very disturbing because Lou is in the video. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
anyway.
But you brought it up.
Yeah, but that image flashed into my head, and it's like I realized I don't want to have that image in there anymore. But no, I don't know if they do that with drugs, but I heard about it with alcohol. But I like to think of one's butt as an exit only. I mean, I just throwing that out there. I like to think of my ass in particular as an exit only.
Have you got?
Now that's just not true because I heard you propositioning somebody to give you a prostate exam.
No, I never propositioned it. No.
Now
this is something that men have to do every once in a while, but I've never propositioned anyone for one. Thank you very much.
I think that's fake news.
Well, you can think all you want, sir. I have the truth on my side. So
you realize that the male G-spot is the prostate, right?
Yes, I read the same article. Thank you.
You know how you get to the prostate, right?
Right, I know how you get to the prostate. And I saw that scene in what was that movie?
I don't fucking
know. I think it was one of the American Pie movies where the really jackass character got a prostate massage at a sperm bank or something like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a strange. It was a really strange movie, but
Like, you know what I would like to find? Like, everybody, back when they had video stores, everybody had like a little card. All you had to do was swipe your card and they'd pull up your account. I'd like to see the history of what Saleen rented from the video store.
you'd actually be disappointed in that, sir, because I never actually did that a lot, and most of the stuff I rented were comedies.
Oh.
I think that's fake news again.
Well, as I said before, you can think anything you want, so you have that right and that freedom. But I have, again, the truth on my side, and you have conjecture.
Yeah, you sit there and you go through his rental history. It's like Drunken Hussies 4, Backdoor Invaders 17.
No. It was Drunken Hussies 3, sir. I never rented 4, just 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, well, excuse me.
What is the best?
Girls Gone Ape Shit 1 through 27.
The best Australian movie? It depends on who you ask. If you ask my other half, yeah, see, people will say Mad Max. I'm more inclined to say Razorback. I like
you
Razorback.
gotta understand, we don't get a lot of Australian movies here in the States. So
Razorback? I showed you Razorback, Numpty.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did. I forgot.
It's so fucking good. My other half would say Bad Boy Bubby, but that's because he's fucked in the head.
There's the typical answer.
No.
Well, it was shot on location. Part of it, anyway. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is here. Good.
If there's not like a national holiday in Australia for Steve Irwin, then I'm disappointed.
No, we don't have one.
I'm disappointed.
Oh, well.
That man was a national treasure.
I remember that.
He may be the greatest Australian in the history of Australians.
No, I doubt it very fucking much so. And I'll tell you fucking why. Anyone worth their fucking salt here is not going to go running around out in the scrub where there's snakes or there's fucking crocodiles or there's anything fucking else that could hurt them in short shorts.
Well, nobody said the motherfucker wasn't a little nuts.
I think she's got a point, sir. I mean, most of the guys that run around in the Everglades here in Florida are wearing long pants and a long sleeve shirt. In
There's plenty of them running around the fucking glades in jorts. Stop it.
Whenever we went out
but they're the rednecks.
Whenever we went out in the scrub, we were always told, wear long pants, look where you're putting your feet, don't step on a snake, don't go anywhere near a fucking snake if you see one. And then we'd see him go out and do the exact fucking opposite.
Okay.
The only thing I will give Steve Irwin is he did a lot for conservation for animals here. But other than that, he's a fucking tool.
Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate any Steve Irwin blasphemy.
Oh, well. Cry.
I'll just hire a couple Aboriginal hitmen, that's all.
Righto.
Oh, here we go.
That makes him even more. No, it doesn't. It makes him a fucking idiot. It makes him a fucking wanker asking for trouble.
Well, I mean, he's asking for trouble just going into the outback anyway. But
no. See, like you're fine if you go out. You look where you're putting your feet. Most snake bites are from people not looking where they're going and stepping on a snake, and the snake obviously spinning around and biting you because you've just stepped on it.
Well, I mean, it's common courtesy not to step on a living thing.
So fucking look where you're putting your feet. And then this silly prick would be like, he's running around out in the scrub. Oh, look, a fucking brown snake. He goes and runs over to the fucking thing and picks it up. Then it's all pissed off. It's like, no wonder.
I forgot.
Well, I mean,
how did
to be
he
fair,
die?
that was like part of the TV show, so that's kind of what he had to do.
No, he didn't have to fucking do that at all.
How did he die? I forgot.
He got stung by a stingray.
Yeah, he was swimming right above a stingray, and it got him in the heart.
He's the second only person in recorded history here that's died from a stingray barb. They don't tend to hurt people.
Well, I mean, people get stung by stingrays all the time. Just most people aren't swimming right above them and catching the chest.
Well, Libby's got a fan.
Well, thank you.
I don't like Libby anymore. She's talking shit about Steve Irwin. Next thing you know, she's going to start talking shit about Paul Hogan next.
Who? Crocodile Dundee? No, I won't talk shit about him. He's all right. I'll talk a whole world of shit about Steve.
Steve Irwin's way more badass than him. No, Hogan was a fucking comedian.
Steve Irwin made us all look like fucking mindless idiots.
Well, yeah, okay.
No, he didn't.
He did. He perpetuated this fucking stereotype about Australians. That was bullshit.
Okay, but that was just shtick for a TV show.
No, it wasn't.
And really, if you want to talk about perpetuating stereotypes, Paul Hogan did it 10,000 times.
Yeah, I know. Paul Hogan did. Yeah, I know.
In Excess was Australian?
Yes, they were. No, I'm not a fan of In Excess. My other half has a joke about the singer because he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. And there was an In Excess song where he's like, I was hanging, no one was there. So he kind of foresaw what was going to happen.
Isn't that what Carradine died from?
Yes, he died of that as well. Autoerotic asphyxiation. That's why you always have a spotter, people. If you're going to choke yourself while you jerk off, at least have someone else in the house to be your spotter.
Because if you don't know if you're coming or going.
Exactly.
It'll be written on his tombstone. He came and went at the same time.
How do you figure out one day that having your oxygen supply taken away from you makes you come harder? I don't understand. Oh, someone asked me about In Excess. Can you come over and tell us the joke that you...
Well, I don't know, Saleen. How did people come up with that thought?
Scott's here. Hang on. Do you like?
I have no idea, Slim, and why would I know that? I don't know.
You'd be our resident expert on that.
Scott's here. Do you like In Excess, darling?
Well, In Excess have that song. It was a prophetic song.
Yeah.
Where Michael Hutchins is singing, I was hanging, no one was there.
Mm.
You got one reaction.
Most of them probably don't know how he died. That's probably...
Yeah, we're talking about it. That's why we're talking about David Carradine and all sorts of shit. His safe word was grasshopper. What?
By the way, how you doing, Scott?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Oh, day by motherfucking day.
It sounds like a plan. I keep saying I haven't killed anyone yet, but the day is still young.
Have you had your coffee yet?
I've had half of my coffee.
Oh, well, then once you finish your first cup, everyone is safe.
No, they're not really.
I was telling him about work soon. Yeah, he goes to work soon.
I'm spending my days amusing scammers, right? And one thing I've noticed is they don't do their research.
Who doesn't?
Scammers.
Scammers.
Or what kind of scammers?
They're on Snapchat trying to get money out of him. He's got 5 of them on the go.
I'm up to 6.
Oh, he's got
okay.
6 on the go, and he's just fucking with them.
But like,
There's a
one-
guy-
I'm subscribed to a YouTube channel that does that. Dude does nothing but fuck with those telephone scammers from India.
Yeah, fuck
yeah, no, these are.
Which one is it, Slim? I think I might be subscribed to the same channel.
These
Does
scammers are not, they're not those, phone ones. They'll, I'll send you nudes if you send me money. So the whole point is, you try and get as many nudes out of them as you can without actually sending the money. And some of the stories are fucking amazing. Like, there's one of them I'm talking to at the moment. She's apparently in Australia. And she's talking about how she had to take her mum to hospital, but she doesn't have the money to pay the hospital bill. And I'm like, you didn't go to a public hospital?
What's the best Australian movie, baby? I know what the answer it's going to be, but
Oh, look, the best Australian movie is a movie called Hercules Returns.
oh, that's what one I thought you were going to say.
So it's well worth watching. A lot of the jokes will probably go over your head. You thought I was going to say Bad Boy Bubby.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Bad Boy Bobby.
No, Bad Boy Bubby's good, but it's not the best one. Or you could go one of Peter Jackson's earliest movies, and that's Meet the Feebles.
I thought Peter Jackson was a Kiwi.
We've
We
adopted him.
adopt every Kiwi that's famous. Australia adopts. It's a thing.
Like Split
Kiwi,
Ed.
for those of you who don't know, is a nickname for New Zealand.
Anyone
Yeah.
from New Zealand.
I wouldn't
we
claim any
got-
of those communist fucks from New Zealand.
What? They're not
Oh, here.
communist. Oh God.
Here we go.
Is this another
Here we
one
go.
between communism and socialism?
Yeah. Can you explain to him the difference between communism and socialism?
Okay. If you think of America, right?
Oh no.
America is a feudalist society where the rich have all the power and the poor people suffer. Right? Now that is what do they call it?
Capital.
Capitalism. Capitalism is feudalism under another name. Right. So when it comes to socialism,
Not really, but okay.
well, no, it is. Because in
really
America, the rich have all the power and the poor people suffer. It's the same thing. So socialism
Fuck you, Dane.
Socialism is putting a platform underneath everyone, so everyone gets a basic level of care.
There's a safety net.
Here's the overall problem with socialism. It's immoral to take my shit, even if you vote to take my shit.
What are you
It's still
talking
stealing
about?
at the end of the day.
What are you talking about?
Who's taking
All
stealing
socialism is the world's biggest redistributionist system. So yes, it is immoral to take my shit, even if
What
you
are you
vote to
talking
take my
about?
shit.
No one comes and takes your shit.
Okay.
It's called taxes. Every cunt has to pay them.
except for the rich?
Yeah, we don't pay nowhere near as much. I keep more of my money.
I don't feel that I've missed out any. And when I had to spend stay in the hospital for a week, I didn't have to pay for it. So
Okay, but somebody did. See,
yeah,
here's
I did
here's
as
the
well
problem.
when I paid my taxes.
Here's the
I
problem.
did as well when I paid my taxes.
Here's the problem with pretty much every, and this includes Australia's socialist healthcare systems. When America collapses and quits cutting everybody checks, they all go away.
No, but okay.
Yeah. When we stop playing Defender of the World, all of it goes away.
Who said you should start playing Defender of the World?
No one asked you to.
I don't think they should.
No one asked you to.
I think they should make the rest of the world pay their own military budgets. We shouldn't be paying them for them.
No one ever asked America to be the world police. You guys kind of just took that on yourselves. Am I wrong?
I just agreed with you.
Wasn't it Eisenhower who said, "Beware the military-industrial complex"? In so many words.
I tried to tell him about Pine Gap.
That's kind of talking out of both sides of your neck coming out of Eisenhower, though, isn't it?
Well, he saw it from both sides. I think he, pardon me, I mean, he was on both sides of that coin at various times in his life. So I think of all the people in the country at the time, he was probably the best person to speak on that, my opinion. I mean, he was a 5-star general. He was also president of the United States. So he saw both the civilian side of it and the military side of it. So, yeah, he might have been talking out both sides of his mouth, but he was also talking about it from the position of an expert on both sides of the coin.
Well, I'm also not totally against everything America does like most people are on the world stage. Some of it is absolutely necessary. Some of it, no, it's not.
Is ripping us off for Pine Gap necessary, or?
Not necessarily, no. I think that's one where I'd say it's unnecessary. But the whole war on communism with the Korean-Vietnam conflicts, yeah. Communism's that bad of an idea, it deserved to be wiped out. I mean, it's only killed somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 million people in the 20th century alone.
Very true.
How many people have died as the result of capitalism?
Well, I mean, not nearly as much. And also, if you consider capitalism has brought half of the world out of abject poverty in the last 40 years, yeah, I'd say it's done. Its record kind of speaks for itself.
Which half?
What would be considered third world that capitalism, helps to bring up in the world?
Like when they found oil in Venezuela, an American company swooped in and destroyed their socialist government.
Oh no! Now you've got him started again.
I think it was much worse when Chavez took control.
You missed a good few things, CJ, but right now we're just winding up into a left versus right political.
Actually, I'm not even talking left versus. I'm not even talking about left versus right. I'm talking immoral versus moral.
We did not talk about Outback Steakhouse. Stop it.
Yeah, no, I don't know
Wait
if we have.
Wait a minute. This can't be true.
Yeah, dude, no, we don't fucking. Nah, okay. You guys need to understand something. Foster's beer doesn't get drunk here. We think it's disgusting. It tastes like shit. So we send it to dickheads overseas and they drink it.
Well, what beer is popular in the land down under?
I've never met anybody that drinks Foster's.
Neither have I, quite honestly. I don't even see anybody. I don't even see it in the stores mostly.
There's heaps. There's Tooheys New. There's Tooheys Old. There's 4X Gold. There's Iron Jack. What else am I thinking of? There's Great Northern.
Never heard of any of this.
Yeah, well, they're all beer.
I don't drink beer. I don't drink.
I'm not a big beer drinker either. I'd rather. Now you put a Kentucky bourbon in front of me and it's gone, but not a big beer drinker.
Yeah, I'm more of a spirit girl too, like bourbon or rum. I really like Bundaberg rum, which is one that we make here in Queensland. Oh, it's so good.
See, I try stuff from other countries all the time. Like I ordered a bottle of like actual Russian vodka. This was a couple years ago. Because, I'd had the American stuff, but I wanted to try some authentic Russian vodka.
It's rocket fuel.
There's a website that I order from. It's called Wooden Cork. Like I've got a bottle of absinthe from Germany off of there too.
How the fuck did you manage to get that?
I guess it's not banned anymore.
I think you can buy absinthe in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
We can get absinthe here, but it's not the fancy hallucinogenic one. No, I don't know if we have moonshine over here. But that Bundaberg rum, it's not made. It's made on cane sugar, so it's got this really nice sweet sort of taste to it.
If I had known you were a rum drinker, I would have suggested you get a hold of a bottle while you were here in Florida. You should have gotten a hold of a bottle of Siesta Key rum. It's made here in Florida. As a matter of fact, it's made in a distillery about 10 miles from my house. I used to go to high school with the owner of the company, and he and his wife are good friends of mine.
Oh, so you're telling me that I could have got a free bottle?
No, probably couldn't have gotten a free bottle, but I probably could have, anyway. I didn't know you drank rum anyway. I thought all you did was blaze up.
And all moonshine is homemade whiskey. So I mean, if anybody around there makes their own whiskey, then I mean that's moonshine. Fuck, I mean,
my ex mother-in-law, there were a few people in her family that made moonshine at one time, way back when, and she still had some of that stuff lying around her house. And she gave me. I decided that I wanted to try it, and I took a little swig of it, a shot glass of it, and that hurt. That really, really hurt. I mean, it cleared my sinuses out for about 6 months.
Hey, you want to try some of that stuff I've made? I've got a 6-gallon still at the house. I make some of my own.
No, I don't want to try any of that shit. It doesn't mix well with my medication anyway.
Might make you go blind.
Well, I was afraid of that when I tried it, but I tried it anyway, and it didn't make me blind, but Jesus, that hurt. It burned. I mean, it felt like my insides were on fire. Well, Mike Hogue agrees with you, Libby, that
yeah, it is. It's fucking nasty. It's so gross.
I've never had it.
I mean, their ad campaign in the U.S. for a while, there was Foster's Australian for beer.
Yeah, I know. And you fellas fell for it. And that's why I think it's so funny that it's over there.
What the fuck do we know? I mean, a guy with an Australian accent.
You
Crocodile
fell for it.
Well, somebody did. Not me, but somebody fell for it.
I think.
What was the best line I ever heard? Drinking American, it was an Australian said it. He said, drinking American beer is like making love in a canoe. Fucking close to water.
Yeah, yep. Our beer's a lot stronger.
Yeah. Which surprises the hell out of me, considering the nanny state and all that, but okay.
Are you fucking serious? Will you fucking give up, please?
But then again, I guess you could make the argument that if the government keeps their population drunk, they're easier to control.
Oi, it's not like that.
Oi?
How you're trying to get your fucking attention.
Oh, that's quintessential. Oi!
Yeah, oi.
Oi.
O-I. Oi.
Yes, I know how to spell it.
No, you don't.
Well,
in
Yiddish, it's O-Y. Oi.
Let's not act like everything is rainbows and sunshines. I mean, people were rioting against the government in Australia a year ago.
When?
The shit was all over the news.
When were we rioting?
Until they quit doing all the COVID lockdowns, there were people in the streets rioting against them.
Oh, you're talking about the Melbourne riots. Okay, righto. I'm like, what? A year ago? There wasn't any fucking riots.
And don't forget, Slim, they got their asses handed to them by a bird.
Well, I wasn't going to bring up old shit, but yeah, we can.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's funny you mentioned that because it looks like the COVID lockdown talk in this country is starting up again.
For what reason? I don't know. Like, the society's getting along just fine without the lockdowns. Like, as it is, no one gives a flying fuck. People are gonna die. People have been dying from the fucking flu. No one cares.
Well, I mean, it was all over the news today. There's about 100 different universities all across the country are going back to mask requirements. There's this new variant of COVID. It's like, what is it called? ES5 or EG5 or some bullshit like that. And they're talking about, you know, some states are talking about bringing back mandates and lockdowns and they're talking, you know, they're mentioning, you know, the vaccine passport thing has started up again, you know. And I think I posted something up on my Facebook page saying, you know, they're starting the 2024 election scare, you know, now because they figured it's election season. They got to figure out a way to scare everyone before the 24 election.
That's how it works. But the other thing is, when it comes to like diseases, there are always variants around the world. It's funny that COVID is the only one that hasn't had area-specific variants. I find that really interesting that if there's a variant, it goes around the world and it's exactly the same.
That is a little weird, yeah.
Almost as if it was a pandemic. Sorry.
All of you to go fuck yourself!
Uh-oh.
With something hard and sandpapery.
All right,
Ooh, that sounds like fun. No, wait a minute. I can't do that.
That's not very nice.
What?
Libby says such things to me out of love and affection.
Yes, I can. What's not nice? What happened?
Saying that I should go fuck myself with something hard and sandpapery.
That's not even the worst thing I've said to you before.
No, that's mild by comparison. I've set her off to the point where she said, go fuck yourself with something sharp, long and sharp.
Did I? I don't remember that. What the fuck did you say?
I don't know. It had something to do with guns or something like that.
Oh, look. I grew up around guns. Guns,
yes,
as far as I'm concerned, they're a tool to be used. Like, in my case, my grandfather was he had a farm, so he had it for pest control, you know. But even when we were little kids, the emphasis was on safety. He'd say, don't point it at someone even if it's not loaded. If you're walking through the scrub, not using it, have it cocked open over your arm, pointing down at the ground. You know, like.
Well, I mean, that's normal shit that people teach their kids here too.
Yeah. But we also had at that time, by that point, depending on how young I was, we didn't have
Hoagie, Libby is involved with someone, you know, rein it in.
What? How much I fun I am.
Why are you interrupting, Saleen? She was in the middle of a soliloquy.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I'll bite me.
But that was I think that was before we had the massacre at Port Arthur, and then they brought in the gun laws. We still have guns. We just can't get semi-automatics, which, I mean, whatever. Like, Granddad never needed one of them out on the farm anyway. And I mean, like, what fucking use would anyone out on the farm have for one of them at all?
It's a lot easier to use.
How's it going, Albert?
Well, if nothing else, when I've watched all of the people in my family use the single shot rifles, they're unbelievable. Like, how they're able to use those pieces of equipment is fucking unreal. and they learn you got to be quick, especially if you're out shooting a fox or something.
The difference here is like 90+% of all guns, whether it's rifles, shotguns, or pistols, are semi-automatic.
Yeah, well, you can have pistols here if you're part of if you're a collector or a part of a gun club.
Yeah, like there's actually more guns in Australia now than there was pre-ban.
Yeah, it's
wait a minute.
Regulated, but it's not like when they did the buyback. People make out like the buyback was this big tyrannical thing and they went out after people and all that. No, they didn't. They gave people a time frame to get their guns in by. I don't even think they went and chased people up. I know.
Well, it is kind of tyrannical to say, okay, you're perfectly legal to have this one day, but tomorrow, because we choose different, you're going to prison for having it. That, by definition, is tyrannical.
Well, no, they.
Yes, it is.
Well, they fucking had to pass it through the houses and shit. It wasn't like overnight they did it. It was over a period of bloody.
Hang on a minute. I take issue with this statement, sir. When I don't know where you live, but where I live, when I bought my gun, I bought it online. It was shipped to a gun dealer local to me. I went to that dealer. I had to fill out paperwork, and then I had to wait until the paperwork was submitted, approved. I was vetted for a police record. I was vetted or whether or not I was a criminal. I believe it took 3 days for all the vetting to take place. What?
There's a much shorter answer to all this. All gun sales must go through a background check here, unless it is a personal sale between two citizens. Those are the only ones that are not required by law to go through a background check. Caveat to that: if you knowingly sell a convicted felon, like if I sold Saleen a gun and I knew he was a convicted felon, I can go to prison for that.
Yeah. And it may be the case where it's easy to get a gun in Texas versus Idaho or whatever.
No, it's really not. You have to go through the same process because that's a federal form you have to fill out to buy it.
And that's also the 10th Amendment. I mean, you are allowed to have in this country laws that vary from state to state. Now, like Slim said, there are absolutes at the federal level. You do have to go through a federal check before you get your gun. But it may very well be a little easier in Texas versus Idaho. Maybe the waiting period is less time, but
most states don't have a waiting period per se. Like, I've never had a background check take longer than about 20 minutes because it's all in one
mine
single
took 3
system.
days for some reason.
Well, how long ago was
that? I want to say 8 years.
Jesus Christ, Florida must have been one of those. Well, even 8 years ago, I've been buying guns longer than that. I've never had one take longer than 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, well, I mean, I filled out my form and they called me back. They called me back 3 days later. Now, maybe the approval didn't take 3 days, but they called me back.
Probably is, and that's still the case in some states like California and others. Yeah. They have a 3-day waiting period.
And Chicago, for example, is probably one of the worst ones in the world, or in the country anyway. But I mean, varies from state to state. That's the 10th Amendment. But to say a blanket statement, there's no police vetting and criminal clearance for firearm sales, that's just wrong. At least it's certainly not in the commercial sense. Now, maybe if it, I buy a gun from Slim, or he buys one from me, that's a personal transaction.
Yep.
At a gun show, or I come over to Slim's house and I say, "Gee, I like that 1911 with the fancy engraving in it. I want to buy that from you." And he says, "Okay," and I stroke him a check. and my check is good.
You stroke him or what?
A check.
Oh,
Liza.
that's not what
Fuck
I
you.
heard.
Yeah, I know what you heard. Daft cunt.
Well, there's also this common misconception, even by people that live here,
Oh shit!
that the federal government created the states, and that's just not so.
No, the states created the federal government. It's the other way around. That's why the founders put the 10th Amendment in. If you read the 10th Amendment, you understand. I disagree with this statement. I am pro-gun, but there needs to be uniformity of laws from each state to state.
Yeah, but you're never going to have that because you have places like California and Illinois that go off the deep end.
Now, I'll agree with that statement if the basis of that uniformity is, say, Florida or Texas or another state where, they don't infringe on the Second Amendment with an iron fist and a jackboot.
Yeah, well,
but
this is probably a subject where I'm a little more extreme, we'll call it. I think every piece of gun control legislation that's ever been written needs to be ripped up.
And Chicago is a gun-free zone, quote unquote, with the strictest gun laws, quote unquote. And yet, for some reason, every weekend they manage to slaughter between 10 and 12 people a weekend with gun deaths. And they have, and to buy a gun legally in Chicago takes an act of God. But somehow they have all these, they have 20, 30 people shot every weekend, and 6, 10, 8, 10, 12 people die every weekend in Chicago from gun violence.
Yeah, but those are legally acquired ones. Could you imagine if it was those laws weren't in place? There'd be more people.
No, there would.
They are in place, and those guns are still
hang on.
illegal.
Hang on. 99% of gun crimes are done with guns that are not legally purchased.
Yeah.
They're stolen.
And I don't know the Idaho
across the
gun
border.
law, so I can't comment on that. Yeah. Hoagie got a question. Do you think nonviolent felons should be able to get their rights restored to get a gun? No. You are convicted of a felony. I think not only should your right to get a gun is permanently suspended for the rest of your life, I also think your right to vote is suspended for the rest of your life.
Here's my problem with that line of thinking. We know for a fact, indisputable, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Al Capone killed people by his own hand. He was not convicted of a violent crime. Should Al Capone be able to get a gun when he gets out of prison?
No. I don't think any felon should get a gun when they get out of prison. I don't think they should be allowed to vote either.
Well, I like to. When I say something like that, I like to give a reason for it. So if you're going to say I have a dumb fuck idea, at least give a reason for why people convicted of nonviolent felonies should get their guns back.
Well, it's still a felony. I mean, a nonviolent felony could be,
Hang on. Albert, that lie has been debunked probably 50 billion times by now. No, guns aren't streaming across the border from Indiana into Chicago. That's just not the case.
And even if it was the case, what does it matter? You made buying a gun in Chicago so difficult, but hey, there's interstate number whatever, and in an hour or so or a couple hours, you're in Indiana, and you can buy a gun there, and jump back in your car and go home. You could be going bang bang by supper time. I mean, it is what it is.
Well,
I mean,
number one, there's also not that many people, as opposed to what people actually think. There's not that many people actually murdered with guns every year.
Ah, motherfucker!
I mean, I could go with a simpler example and a practical example that I participated in. When I was married, a lot of my in-laws lived in a couple of towns around Fort Payne, Alabama. Fort Payne and two towns surrounding it. Now, I forgot the name of the county that Fort Payne was in, but at the time I was married, the county was a dry county. You couldn't buy liquor. You couldn't buy beer. You couldn't buy any alcohol. Does that mean that every house in the damn county was a dry house? Hell no. They just get in their car and they drive to the next county over and buy and come back. And I can't tell you the number of times they asked me on the way in when we went to go visit them there, by the way, could you bring us a couple of bottles of this or that? And,
perfect example of that. When we went to Pigeon Forge for the Slob Olympics, there was a liquor store at the county line because Pigeon Forge is in a dry county. Well, they're kind of in a dry county because you can go to a restaurant and buy a beer, or that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever.
1 month?
Huh?
And psychological evaluation. So you're basically advocating for red flag laws across the country and a 1 month cool down period.
We have a 1 month cool down period.
Here's the only problem with his psychological evaluation and his 1 month quote unquote cool down period. Unlike things like healthcare, people seem to think that's a right, or food or housing, people seem to think that these goods are rights. It actually is your right in this country to own a gun. That's something the government can't take away from you.
Which is ass backwards. How is healthcare not a right, but having a fucking gun is?
Because it's in the Constitution that it's a right.
Okay.
It's not in the Constitution that healthcare is a right.
Oh my God. Okay. It's not the fucking Bible. It's a piece of paper that you can amend. You realize that, right?
What's up, Hoagie?
You're absolutely right. Do you know the process to amend it? It's not happening.
It's got to go through a process, obviously.
It's difficult to amend the Constitution on purpose. Now,
it's fucking impossible these days.
Yeah. Now, if Joshua and folks that agree with him want to implement a nationwide 1 month cool down period and implement psychological evaluations before purchasing firearms, okay, you have the right to believe that and you have the right to advocate for it. Advocate, and you want it at the national level, then you're going to have to ram a law through Congress to get it done. So good luck with that, because not even in heavy gun control places like New York or DC or Chicago or the entire fucking states of California, Oregon, and Washington, you're never going to get that kind of law through a legislature, even ones that are heavily dominated by the left.
Well, and there's also the fact that, like, people actually think Obama gave a fuck about guns because he kept talking about them constantly. No, he didn't. It's a fucking talking point because he knows the federal government can't do it. There are still a lot of things the federal government is not allowed to do.
I mean, if you want them to be allowed to do it, amend the Constitution, pass laws.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, I mean, you can advocate for whatever you want, just you can't get it through.
This isn't even like a partisan thing. As polarized as everything is, it's literally impossible to pass any kind of constitutional amendment right now, because you need 2/3 of both houses of Congress and you need 2/3 of states to all agree to it.
I don't think you can get 2/3 of. I don't think you get 2/3 of Congress or the states to agree on the color of the sky at this
Probably
point.
not. That's why I say it's impossible to amend the Constitution
Yeah.
right
But
now.
right now, the law of the land is the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'm paraphrasing. And
No, that's not even
that's it.
paraphrasing. That's exactly what it says.
Well, I left out the part about the militia, militia and all that.
Yeah, well, you know what that's called? That's called an explanatory clause. That is their explanation for why they are putting the right. The right itself is after the comma.
And I know folks don't want to hear it, but the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, included things that are called inalienable or unalienable rights. Those are, and this is where I lose people on this. These are rights, what are called natural rights, natural law rights that were ordained to mankind by God, including the right to self-defense, among other things. To defend yourself. That is considered an inalienable right, a right that is a natural right. And our government was instituted to protect those rights, not implement them, not circumvent them, not supersede them, but to protect natural rights. And Vic
really,
says it's 3/4 of the states, not 2/3. And life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is in the Declaration, not the Constitution.
And also, they haven't limited it as much as people would like to think. Like, you can still own a machine gun. You can still, I don't care how many times Puddinhead says the Second Amendment doesn't mean you can own a cannon. Yes, you can.
That's fucked up.
No, it's not. That's the whole point in it.
Excessive. What the fuck do you need that for as a civilian?
Okay, well, perfect example. You decided to bring up Venezuela earlier. When a government decides to go Venezuela,
I never fucking brought it up.
What somebody did.
I agree, Albert.
When a government goes Venezuela on you, you're able to do something about it.
And a cannon is going to work against a government, is it?
Well, but a bunch of people in a sandbox with flip-flops and fucking man purses have done pretty good.
Hey guys, don't forget to click the thumbs up while I got a brief lull here. Please click the thumbs up for me.
But no, you're allowed to own fucking machine guns. You're allowed to own cannons. You're allowed to own tanks. Yeah. There are fighter jets and personal collections. If your bank account's big enough to, afford a $60 million fighter.
There are several people who own and in private collections P-51 Mustangs. Now, admittedly, that's a World War II fighter, and probably was sold to them with the machine guns disabled. But anyone with that can read a blueprint and can work with metal could probably make the machine guns active again.
You realize I can go buy a parts kit right now, a complete Browning M2 machine gun. All I have to do is put it together myself.
Yay!
And if you've never shot one of those things, they're fucking fun.
Yes, I am saying that a little bit of the green stuff or a theft charge, if it's a felony, in both examples, should get gun rights revoked. You are a felon. You are a felon. You are a convicted felon. You have committed a heinous crime against society. Ergo, you should not be trusted with a tool that can maim or kill. And don't worry about the background noise. I wasn't terribly worried about it. So yes, if you are a felon, even a nonviolent felon, you have proven that you cannot be trusted to live in society and obey society's rules. Ergo, you should not have in your possession a device that can kill someone. And yes, we can drill down into, well, a kitchen knife can kill someone, a screwdriver can kill someone, a car can kill someone, a
Shit,
baseball
you
bat
use
can
that
kill someone.
you use that fucking argument with me against guns laws all the time.
Yeah, well, that's because they're very appropriate.
Oh.
Because the AR-15 is so big, bad, and scary, but yet you're 4 times more likely to get stabbed to death than killed by a rifle in the United States.
Look, there was a time not too long ago in this country that if you wanted to kill somebody, really wanted to, kill them, they erase their existence. The way to do it and get away with it, for the most part, is get yourself blind, staggering drunk and get in a car and wait for them to go out to their mailbox and they just run them down. Because drunk driving charges were a joke in this country for a very long time. Now, for a very long time now, that's not the case, but you could use your car as a weapon and mostly you might get a slap on the wrist compared to actually pulling a gun out and blowing their brains out. A gun is a tool. A car is a tool. A baseball bat is a tool. A knife is a tool. I've made this, I will say this again. I've made this declaration before and I will say it again. I will take a gun. I will load it. I will chamber around and I will cock that gun and take the safety off. I will put that gun on a table and I will put a camera on that table and that gun and I'll walk away from it. And I will put on it, right next to it, a check for $1,000 made out to whoever can come up with the challenge. I will load, cock, and walk away from that gun. And if that gun, without being interacted on by any person on this earth, kills someone, they can walk away with that check.
Won't you shit your pants if it accidentally goes off somehow?
How's it going to go off? It's sitting on a table. Nobody's interacting with it. Nobody knocked it off the table. Nobody touched it. Nobody picked it up. Nobody pulled the trigger. It's a tool. Like a knife, like a car, like a screwdriver, like a baseball bat. All these things can injure or kill someone. It's the person wielding the tool that is the quote unquote problem. Nobody will take up that challenge because it's a lose challenge for anyone who takes the challenge. Because as long as you don't touch that gun and pick it up and point it at somebody and pull the trigger, ergo interacting with it, it will never hurt anyone. It could sit there for an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, a century, a millennia. It will never hurt someone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Guns don't kill people. People kill people with guns.
Husbands that come home early kill people.
Right. Or wives.
Yeah, that come home early.
Wives that don't get good anniversary presents.
There you go. Yeah.
Quick recommendation to all the males out there that are listening to my voice. Never buy a vacuum cleaner for an anniversary gift.
Is that what you did?
No.
No.
I'm much smarter than that. Nice haircut, Vic.
That's good. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
How you doing, Vic?
Good.
Getting ready for the season?
Yep.
What games? We know Mike Vick is a big college football fan.
Now, Joshua, I'll agree with you on that. They do need to. They need to hand out the death penalty more readily.
Oh yeah,
and it solves prison overpopulation.
Yeah, bring back the death penalty for the synagogue shooter. Yeah. I wish somebody had snuffed his dumb ass out the day he did it, but unfortunately they didn't. Which game on Saturday are you looking forward to, if any?
Let's see. I guess the UTEP and Jacksonville State. I guess it's probably going to be be a good one. Yeah.
Which one do you think Lou's going to live stream?
He already said he was going to live stream Navy and Notre Dame, and he said he was going to live stream, I think, the Vandy and Hawaii. So,
You think that'll be a good game?
no. No.
What do you think? What do you think the odds are for or against the Vandy Stadium being sold out?
I guess that they'd be against. I guess, yeah.
You gonna watch the Florida Utah game?
Yeah. That's not until next Thursday though. But
Yeah.
let's see what else they got. Of course, we already said Navy and Notre Dame. Yeah, that's in Ireland, and then also those are just the FBS games. Though also don't forget the FCS games at 3:30 on ESPN. They have the FCS kickoff that's in Montgomery. It's going to be North Alabama and Mercer. Yeah.
You think I should live stream? Yeah. You think I should live stream the Florida game?
Yeah. And then also at 7:30 they have the SWAC MEAC challenge between this is going to be SC State and Jackson State. So
now Albert, I'll agree with you completely on that. They should go back to hangings on the courthouse lawn. Rope is cheap.
Yeah. It's going to be Jackson State. It's going to be now without Dion. So, yeah.
How's it going to fall off the table by itself?
I don't know if there's an earthquake, I guess.
Yeah. If a big gust of wind was to
there's an earthquake. Yeah.
Now, not to undermine your argument, Saleen, but there actually was a lawsuit against Remington. This was probably 25, 30 years ago now. They had Remington claims it was only about 2,000 models of the 700 that made it out with defective parts, and they actually would fire on their own.
There you go. So a gun has killed someone before.
Go up your bum.
No,
Where's my money?
It didn't kill anybody.
Manufactured gun.
Oh, it
didn't kill anybody. No, they didn't kill
close
anybody.
enough. Give me the check. Come on.
A defectively manufactured gun. That's sort of
exactly. A dingo could knock it off the table. Come on, give me the money.
There you go.
Vandy Dandy says a dingo could knock it off the table.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah.
But that means that someone or something interacted with it.
Do you have dingoes where you live, Libby?
I live in cold country, so I get kangaroos. Echidnas. Have you ever seen an echidna?
A what?
What's that?
An echidna.
What's that?
They're kind of like a porcupine. Hang on. Can I share the screen?
If you can, go ahead. If not, I can look it up.
Yeah, I think that.
Oh no, I can.
Yeah, you can, but Saleen has to add it. So yeah.
Okay, well, add it and
because
that'll save me from having to type. That'll save me from having to type, which triggers people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it'll show up in your back room. Yeah.
Joshua, I've heard the same thing. I own 2 Sig Sauers and have never had a problem with them. I mean, honestly.
Hey guys, come on, give me one more thumbs up. One more thumbs up. Give me the 20.
They eat ants and they can swim. They're actually quite good swimmers.
Do they eat uncles?
No. Ha ha ha. You're funny.
I know I'm funny. Keep trying to tell you. Nobody believes me.
Because you're full of shit. That's why.
Vandy Dandy says he's going to be at the Hawaii game. Yeah.
Okay,
really?
So
I love my Sig. I ain't even gonna lie.
Okay, so there you go. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I see it. Hang on.
I don't see it.
Wait a minute. I'm just making sure it's not.
You have to add it to the stream.
Of course, it's not.
No, yeah.
Well, you're not 100% trustworthy sometimes. No thanks.
Yeah.
I have a head.
Yeah. What about any a platypus?
Yeah, I've seen
It
one
loo-
of them.
It looks like
Yeah,
a porcupine, like
you
you
have
said.
a platypi where you live.
Yeah,
It's so cute.
and
Yeah, I've heard
snake.
that. I've heard that the bite from a platypus
Joshua, that would explain
is
why.
poisonous. I've heard that.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard that the bite from the platypus is
I'm sorry,
is
Libby. That was my fault.
poisonous.
Come back, Libby. That was my fault. I clicked the wrong button.
Yeah, that's why. I don't. I've got a 220 and a 227.
Yeah, I've heard that it's poisonous, and it can be quite painful.
So can porcupines, I guess. Oh.
Yeah, but they're not poisonous.
I guess if you get spiked by one, yeah.
Well, Mike, that was my fault. I clicked the wrong one, and she
It's kind
got
of like
bombed.
a
She got punted.
hedgehog. It's kind of like
She'll come back. See, there she
It's
is,
kind of
right
like
there.
a hedgehog. Yeah.
Sorry,
Did you
my
fucking
fault.
me, you
I'm
arsehole?
sorry. What do you want me to do? Open a vein? Come on.
Yes, I do actually. Go on. How fucking dare you? Yeah, platypi. I've never been bitten by one. I've not heard that their bite's painful. They do have poisonous spurs on their back.
Oh, that was it. It was the tail. Yeah, not the bite. It was the spikes
Yeah,
on the tail. Okay.
Yeah, they've got spurs.
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
and
And then
those.
we've got magpies too. Now magpies are fine until nesting season, and they're
Yes.
known to swoop. Like if you walk near their tree, they'll chase you and they'll swoop you and
Yeah.
stuff. They've been
Yeah.
known to take people's eyes.
Nature Boy, sir, this is 2023. I'm going to need you to get with the diversity program here, sir. I'm Glock 2.
Yeah.
I love it. Better.
Yeah. So do you know anyone who has been poisoned by a platypus or
Nah.
no?
They will tend to they'll try their best to get away from you before they use them. Like, that's only like a last resort, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, kangaroo would kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
I bet
And they're
the
actually
kangaroo couldn't get within 50 yards of me.
yeah, totes.
You bet the what? What was that? Yeah, you broke up, Slim.
I said I bet the kangaroo wouldn't get within 50 yards of me before I put a bullet in his fucking head.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
right.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, it would kick the shit out of you if you didn't have a gun.
If you didn't have a gun, yeah. But
Dude, I don't need a gun. I'll punch a kangaroo in the face. I'll punch a fucking koala in the face. I don't give a shit.
yeah, right. Yeah,
This-
You punch a
this
kangaroo
makes-
in the face.
How
and
do
it
that
you
makes no sense?
Yeah, you said the same thing about who was it about Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Who the fuck's scared of Mark Zuckerberg? Nobody.
Nobody.
I wish that fight was going to happen. I would love to see Musk just pound Zuckerberg in the donkey.
Well, it's not.
test.
would
Well,
never
it's not gonna happen. Cause I mean, Mark Zuckerberg actually knows, like jujitsu and MMA
So what?
Type stuff. Yeah.
No,
So
not
And
necessarily.
I don't know.
guess
I don't
what?
know much about.
Guess what?
Elon's
Guess
fighting
what, Vic?
background.
Justin Bieber took a boxing lesson from Floyd Mayweather. I'd still kick his fucking ass.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because
Well,
you
I'm
took
just
a couple of lessons
right.
doesn't mean you know how to apply it for one.
right.
And
Well,
it
I'm
doesn't
just
mean
saying.
you're any good at it for another.
I'm
And
just saying that
nobody
I
can
don't know
say-
really know anything about Elon's fighting background. So
That's
He
Yeah,
true.
well,
doesn't
guess
have
what? Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have a fighting background.
And he's got the most punchable face in the universe.
That fucking alien ain't scaring nobody.
That you look
Elon
at
Musk
Zuckerberg's
yeah.
face and you just want to punch it.
I want to punch Elon Musk's face too.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
Why?
Both of them.
Why? He's an
they're
environmentalist.
both
There you go. He's
slimy
an
little pricks.
environmentalist. That's right, and he's going to get us to Mars. So yeah.
And he launched a Tesla into space.
I don't give a flying fuck what he launched into space.
Big fucking
Hey,
deal.
hey,
He launched a Tesla
I,
into space.
I hate to break this to you, Libby, but you're not allowed to talk bad about African Americans, and Elon Musk falls under that category, man.
Yes, technically, yes, he is. Yeah.
He is an African American.
Technically, he is African American because he's South African. So yeah.
Never mind the fact that he's white, but
So
that's why
so
the term
technically,
African American
yes.
makes no sense. No,
Technically,
he's an American citizen now. He was born in South Africa,
Oh,
ergo African American.
There you go.
I'm sorry the facts got in the way of your feels.
Yep, too bad.
No, I think you're just full of shit and you got your head up your ass. That's
No,
I'm
it
sorry,
doesn't.
he was
No,
born
you're
in
in
South
your
Africa.
feelings.
He's
It
an
is a
American.
fact. That man is
no,
an
I'm
African
not in my
American.
fucking feelings. I'm just pointing out that you've got your heads up your ass.
Yeah,
But we're right.
my principal in middle school was from South Africa, but she was white, so I guess she was technically African American.
No,
And
that's
do you
not how
know that
fucking
there's an entire section in Miami? It's like, with a ton of Jamaicans who are black and get really, really pissed off when you call them African American because they're from Jamaica.
Yeah, they're not. African. They're Jamaican. So. Yeah, and also, why don't we call black people
since you bring
African
that up,
American?
T2Y has had to set somebody straight on that. Jesse Jackson
And also,
started that shit.
Every black person that was born in America is not African American. They're American American.
So why don't we call white people European American?
Because we were born in America.
There you go. So why everyone has to be, African American or
I've heard that term
or Asian American, but there is no European American. Yeah.
I've heard that term be used before.
I'm half Ukrainian and half German. I don't call myself a German American or Ukrainian American. I'm an American. I was born in America.
Or a European. Or a European.
Certainly not. I mean, I'm third generation American. If you want to go that route, I mean,
you brought it up. T2I actually had to correct somebody because T2I is from Jamaica, and they went on that same line of shit.
Yeah.
And our illustrious cackler pole dancer in Heat, Kami Harris, who everyone calls African American, is not black. She's Indian.
There we go.
Half Indian and half what was the other half? I think the other half is white. But the point is, she's not black. She's a woman of color. I'm using air quotes, woman of color. But she's not African American, folks.
Yes. Well, I'm third generation American on my dad's side. So
yeah, I just mislabeling people in the name of political correctness is just silly. You're breaking up, Slim.
Breaking up again, Slim.
Half Indian and half Jamaican. Thank you, Vandy Dandy.
There you go.
But Indian is not black.
What's funny? I said what's funny about all this political correctness crap is we're about 5 minutes from coming full circle back to colored people.
Well, the rate we're going,
Well, I mean, it's still okay to say people of color or person of color, but I mean, we
Well,
still
I
say
guess it's
that.
more of a catch-all than,
So
you
instead of
know,
instead of
I'm
calling
just
people
saying,
colored, but yeah,
getting back around to colored people's the next logical step. They gonna come
colored.
full
Yeah,
fucking circle.
yeah,
But I mean, that's modern liberalism today. Is a fucking merry-go-round, around and around we go.
around and around and around and around and around and around we go. Yep.
unfortunately, history does tend to repeat itself, and also, unfortunately, we don't tend to learn from history,
Yeah,
do we?
it's like when you have a June bug, yeah, tied to a string, it goes around and around and around, right? Or like a dog, chasing its tail, it goes around and around and around, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But
I think it's even
unfortunately,
unfair to call them liberals because it really isn't. Dave Rubin's a liberal, and at least he's logical.
no, when I
Yes.
think liberal, I think of Alan Dershowitz. That's the first person that pops into my mind. He is a classic
Yeah,
liberal. What you're looking at now that they
leftists,
call themselves liberal are, you could either call them more
leftists,
correctly progressives or
progressives,
leftists, but
or
they are not
or
liberal.
Marx or
Well, Marxists
Marxists, right?
That's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
extreme,
yeah,
but
yeah.
people like
You
the
like,
Squad and
yeah,
Bernie
that's what you
Sanders.
like to. Yeah, that's what you like to call them. But
Yes, well, it's an accurate description in most cases, but anyway, it is now 5 o'clock, and I have to shut her down because I have to be somewhere. And you know the routine. I mean, yes, last week I was able to go long because I didn't have to go somewhere that night, but I do have to go somewhere tonight. So it is 5 o'clock, and I do have to shut her down. Tis what it is.
oh,
Okay then.
I did.
Bye.
Bye, Lib. Thank you for coming.
That's all right.
Love you. Vic, thanks for stopping by. I wish you had stopped by
Yeah.
earlier, but
Yeah, me
you know,
too.
I know you. You're a very busy man, and you've got things
Yes,
to
all right,
do.
that's
And
right. I'm busy. I'm trying to finish up, doing all my college football predictions for, each team. So yeah.
I'm
And
thinking
now
I
and now still
probably
trying to get through the Big 12 and I mean the Pac-12 right now, and then the Big 12. So
you
yeah.
think I should do a Florida game by game prediction?
Yeah,
Nobody cares, but you think I
you
should do
should.
one?
I'll watch it. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that'll be my walking and talking for next Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That'll work. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, Vic. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Saleen.
Always. Anyway, thanks to Libby and Slim and VicTube Productions for stopping by and being in the StreamYard. I know Hoagie tried, but I think he was having some technical problems. Definitely, Hoagie, no problem. Thanks to all the people in the chat. Thanks for all the thumbs ups to get me to 20. If anyone hasn't already clicked the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it before you leave. And thanks for hanging out with me for a couple hours on episode 148 of Wednesday Afternoon Live with me, the SaleenDriver. The longest running Wednesday afternoon live stream in all YouTube that I know of. Once again, proving after 2 hours, we are the show that is about nothing in particular. Y'all have a good rest of the evening. Enjoy the first weekend of college football for the 2023 season. And I will see you soon.